Yes, you read the title correctly. I'm going to master an entire animation style in literally just 3 days. Why? Well, I entered a short film contest. The rules are pretty simple. I have to create a short film over the course of Memorial Day weekend, and I can't use any footage that I've already created outside of those 65 hours. This means I can't use any character concepts, scripts, and most importantly, nothing that I've already animated. So, since I chose a whole new animation style to try as my format, I need to be able to master it, so I can devote all of my time on Memorial Day weekend to just animating and editing and not get bogged down in tutorials. Not only that, but I'm also going to be traveling that weekend, so I'm going to be away from basically the entirety of my setup. This isn't actually how I really intended my first video to go at all. It just kind of happened like this. Like, I had a whole plan, and I've been talking about it on my channel for a while in the shorts, and then I'm still making that first video, but this is like my actual first, this is like my, but that's the first, intro. Alright, so the first step to this is research. I need to watch me some videos on stop motion animation. And this isn't actually location specific, so here's me in my school computer lab watching some videos on it. Actually, I'm writing the script for this video. Okay, so throughout the rest of the school day, I watch videos made by this guy. Great series, by the way. But in terms of what I actually need to start, I basically only need 3 things. Software to animate it on, sticky tack, and some sort of stand or filming device. Now, you do need more than just this, but editing software and character models are things that I already have, sort of. I'll talk about that more later. And of course, you need, like, experience or whatever. So the first part is the software. All of the videos I watched really leaned hard into this one called Stop Motion Studios, so I figured I'd just use that. Done and done. Next is the sticky tack. So everyone and their dog seems to be using this stuff. I don't know how it's going to perform in outdoor filming environments, but it'll probably work. I realized retroactively that at some point, my dad had given me some to hang up posters in my room, but I don't know where I put it, so I figured I'd just get more. I think I probably just wasted my money. Hello, this is the editor here, totally 100% a completely different person from Connecticus. I mean, just look at me. In the script, there was initially going to be a segment here called The Journey to Get the Sticky Tack, and I realized that, like, I didn't really explain why there needed to be a video segment about me going to Lowe's to buy some sticky tack, but, like, there's no good segue to this, so I'm just putting this in here, which is probably going to interrupt the flow even worse. I also realized I never really explained what sticky tack was in the first place. Basically, you can use it like poster putty, but you also can use it to anchor down the legs of posable figures, like action figures, or in my case, Legos. So, if you're doing stop motion animation, you can like stick it to the bottom of something's foot, and then it'll kind of stay in that place even if you move the rest of the body around. Anyways, here's The Journey to Get the Sticky Tack, featuring the VA for Alan. Alright, this is me going to the store to purchase sticky tack. Do you know any good Dune lines? Because like this I don't know, the camera doesn't capture well, but the sunlight is so cinematic. What about with just the scream? Let's see if Lowe's bans content creators. What if they kick us out? Hello. Part of me always feels so awkward whenever I bring a camera into a public place, because it's like, well, I feel like it's not so much that I'm worried about what I'm doing, it's that all of the people are gonna look at me and be like, oh, look, a teenager bringing in a camera. I'm probably gonna like cover the store in napalm or something. I don't know what I'm looking for even, I'm just wandering through the hallways. All right, sticky tack. Okay, well here's Flex Seal. 11 post-production, put in that Phineas and Ferb, like the doody up, doody up, doody da, doody da, da 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 music for like this montage. I need something that works like sticky tack, like that functions that way. Maybe there isn't an easy way to get sticky tack. Well, what is sticky tack?
Sticky tack is a reusable, moldable, and removable compound used to hang lightweight items like posters, photos, and banners.
Yeah, well, that should be here.
It looks like this.
Oh yeah, no, that should be here, right? I mean, maybe it's more of an office supply store thing. But also, if it was somewhere else, would it be not in this aisle? Low-kite fun tack. This is literally it. It's right here. We just both missed it. Ah! Guys, look, we found it. Chat, please. No, yeah, but we have completed our mission now just to purchase it. So, you know how I said that, like, it was chill and you could wait out here? Do you think that you could loan me $2? I left my wallet at my house.
I don't have any cash.
You don't have, well, no, they only take tap anyway, I think. Please, Ernie. No, like literally, the $3 for the sticky tack.
Wait, but
What
I don't have my credit card on here.
You don't? I thought your mom oh, is that hers? Please. It's $3. Well, I mean, we could also just walk home and get my wallet.
But that's a lot of walking.
It is, but it's also kind of a bit, admittedly.
Yeah, let's do that.
Studi up, studi up, studi da, dee dee da, 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 da. Finally, victory is ours! Now it's time for the third and final thing that I don't already have. A stand. So all of the videos that I watched suggested that I make one out of Legos. However, my tablet is quite big chongus, to say the least. As opposed to, say, a phone, my tablet is a lot bigger and heavier, which means that engineering a Lego stand could be significantly more difficult. I might go back and revise it later in the video, but I started experimenting with a cardboard box with a hole in the bottom, but I'll get back to this later. Out of all of the required things, the stand seemed the least important, as my tablet can hold itself up, and I actually want to start animating, so here's a time-lapse of me making my first attempt. While I'm animating, I have a secret to confess. This isn't actually my first time doing stop motion. My first experiences with animation were actually stop motion Lego, specifically Harry Potter themed because that's what I had a ton of. During the pandemic when I was a young lad, I didn't have a lot of access to screens. The exception to this was stop motion animation. I even used the Stop Motion Studio app specifically. When I went to download it, I remembered the logo and it kind of unlocked a core memory for me. So technically, I already have experience, but I remember basically none of it. Plus, I want to learn to animate things that aren't Legos, you know? So, here's the final product. It's interesting, to say the least. I still have a long way to go. Hey guys, what's up? It's the morning of day 2, and I'm just going to try to animate something right now that's simpler and even shorter than the previous animation, but hopefully looks smoother, because I think last night I tried to do too many moving parts at the same time, which is why it looked a little jank. So I'm just going to focus on animating like the hand of my drawing mannequin like waving or something and hope it looks realistic. The FPS I chose is 17 frames per second. Alright, bye! Okay, so my second animation was pretty rough too. I didn't really have any time to marinate on what I could have done better between attempt 1 and attempt 2 because I basically made them back to back and slept in between. I think that the second one was slightly better, as I now actually had an accurate gauge of what the FPS I chose would feel like when I animated with it, and it's also just a lot less visually busy. Since I still didn't have a stand, I kind of just had to angle my tablet downward on top of a stack of books and just do the best with that. The goal of the first animation was just to have the minifigures fight over the book. Well, the Among Us sort of moved around in circles in the background. I think I got the point across, but the motion still felt clunky. But I realized that I didn't anchor down the base with sticky tack, and it definitely shows. Also, it's time to return back to the stand, which I think will help a lot. Alright, it's the morning of day 3. The final day of the experiment. So far I've only made 2 animations, and I was kind of hoping I'd get more time to spend on it, but I am going to try and do as much animation as possible today, so I can get the most practice in before the long weekend. Probably going to start the morning off with something pretty simple that I meant to do last night. I wanted to animate something last night, but I just got really tired, and I fell asleep. Okay, so it's the morning of day 3. I fell asleep and I didn't finish animating that night, but I did finish making the stand, and it doesn't really work that well. So I'm just going to put that on the back burner and just focus on practicing my animation. This is my final work, Le Toothpaste. It's pretty simple, but I think it's a very big improvement from the other two, and I think it looks pretty good. And this is the part where I'd like to say that for the rest of the day, I absolutely grinded animation, and I got just really, really good, and I put in a ton of practice and everything. But unfortunately, that's not what happened, and I'd like to be honest with my audience, if you couldn't tell already. It kind of shook out this way for a number of reasons. Firstly, I got the start of the time for the competition wrong. I assumed, like I think most people would, that the time to create the film would be something like Friday evening to Monday evening, or Saturday morning to Tuesday morning. I knew it would be a 3-day period, and it was over the course of Memorial Day weekend, and those just seemed like the most obvious ways to split it up. But no, it started on Thursday evening at 5 and ended Sunday evening at 5, which is strange because why put it on Memorial Day weekend when it starts on a Friday and ends on a Sunday? Because, like, everybody has school on Friday, so then you could just do it anyways, and you could not put it on Memorial Day weekend, because then you wouldn't lose a bunch of people because they all had plans. But yeah, I don't know, I'm not an event planner. And then I ran into the second issue. So as background, I stayed up till 2 a.m. storyboarding this concept. A short film that's an allegory to Nazi Germany, and the film had to include the following prompts: a flag, a shot from a famous movie or TV show, and the phrase, know when to say no. So, I chose the flag to be an allegory to the SWAT. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. The Nazi symbol, I'll say. You know the one, there's like one. And the ending scene I chose to be the scene from Schindler's List where all of the Jews give him the ring. The dialogue, I figured I'd just grandfather in there because, it's just a line. It's pretty easy. It was a significant idea to me, mainly because I have Jewish family, but regardless of all that, it was still an important story to me. But I realized that I just bit off more than I could chew. I just didn't give myself enough time to animate it. I didn't really remember the basics as much as I thought I would, and I didn't have the materials I'd need. It just was undercooked, to say the least. So is that it? Well, for an earlier me, it probably would have been. But recently I realized something about myself. My entire life, things have always just come easily or naturally to me. So easily, in fact, that I think it led to me developing kind of a bad work ethic. The biggest challenge for me growing up was just things that were challenging. Like, the thing that I ever struggled with was music and piano, because it just didn't come intuitively to me like other things did. And when something didn't intuitively, just present itself to me, I became really resistant to it because I'd never really learned to deal with that kind of problem before. Yeah, I know, real first world problems. Kid who's smart struggles with learning hard things. You can, cry bitter tears. Part of the reason why I started this YouTube channel is because I'm trying to make an indie pilot, if you couldn't tell already, and that's a big undertaking. So I need to work up to it in terms of being able to successfully commit to projects and succeed at them. And I think making YouTube videos is a good place to start, kind of a middle ground in between what I've been doing before now and what I'm doing already. So where does that leave us on my indie film submission? Well, normally what I do is I realize that my scope was way too big and just drop it entirely. But then I saw this. Yeah, this probably doesn't make any sense. Let me back up. This is Old Dragon Log. Basically, when my family went to our vacation home area, I went to the beach and back of it almost as soon as I got there. And I looked over and I saw this old log and thought, that log looks kind of like a dragon. And then I just started plucking out a song on my ukulele. It was at that moment that I realized I could just start over. Scrap all of the fancy animation and just make something simple that told a good story and captured natural beauty. So, I made a music video. And as Connecticus in an earlier take said, I also don't know how common it is to make a music video, although I feel like that's a bit of a stretch, because if there's a video and there's like a soundtrack, and the soundtrack is kind of like the point of the video, but it's not like I'm gonna be like dancing around and like, yeah, it's like, why did I record that? No, but it was meant to be more just contemplative and thoughtful. I immediately got to work on it. Scrapping basically everything that I learned in the past 3 days about setup, I just decided to do what interested me and what felt right. The song ended up evolving a lot, and though it kept its initial simplicity, the more I plucked, the more it started to feel like an actual song. Also, special thank you to Ariana P. She's the voice of Catherine, by the way, and I have this awesome recording of her taking this microphone and just saying stuff into it, which I'll play a clip of here.
On book 5, I didn't read the prequel, but the first book is the main character is basically running. Oh my god, I hate these. Oh, he's definitely recording. I hate how cringe these books are. And it's the fated mates trope, and it's really stupid, but also like I can't stop, I can't stop reading it.
But anyways, yeah, special thanks to her and also Deckard Herndon for getting materials and just helping out in general. The plot of the video is simple. It's a bunch of beautiful natural shots of the beach at sunset and some pictures of the aforementioned old dragon log, because it looks like a dragon. Do you see it? I see it. I mean, it looks pretty dragony to me. I had this idea for it to be a metaphor too. My dad made a good point about how sometimes something doesn't need to be an analogy and things can just be what they are. But I did want my work to have some meaning, so... One of the big elements of the undiscovered forest is decay and loss of innocence. The idea that something that was once great has now fallen to be a skeleton of what it once was. And Old Dragon Log is also about that. More specifically, something that now means something different than what it originally stood for. In this case, I was thinking about America. I know, right? Crazy, getting political this early on in the channel. My country was never perfect, but I feel like everything we at least pretended to stand for is being thrown into the dumpster recently, and Old Dragon Log sort of represents that. Actually, the video I created in the background is an intro explaining the themes to the judges. And yes, I know that you shouldn't need to create a pre-analysis video for your video to make your video make sense. It's, bad filmmaking, but just, work with me on this. Because remember those criteria from earlier? The line of dialogue, the object, and the shot type? Well, the first two were pretty easy, but the last one I was struggling with. Then I looked at the shot that I had of me sitting on the log at sunset, and it reminded me of the classic movie Gone with the Wind. Actually, just kidding. I've never seen that movie and I probably never will. I literally just looked up famous sunset scenes and saw this one from Gone with the Wind, and I remembered it that in The Outsiders, Ponyboy and Johnny read the book in the barn, and it's vaguely related to Idealized America or something. So I looked up the synopsis of the film on Wikipedia, and it turns out it was criticized for its rose-tinted look at the antebellum period, or pre-Civil War South for the non-nerdy people who read history books out there. And this is actually even better because it plays into the idea that maybe our ideals were never perfect, even back when we originally created them. Anyways, here's the film.
Old dragon log, why are you headed that way? What do you see out in the sea? When are you going to stay? Long ago, there was a knight. He flew a flag high, striped with red and white. He rode to a land far, far away, and there he fought you and sent your life away. Did you ever have ambitions or any inhibitions towards the way that things went down that fateful day? Did you ever want to stop? Did you ever know when not to say no? Did you ever hope things would go a different way? Old dragon log,
Isn't my best work? No. In all honesty, in some ways I have YouTube shorts that I'm more happy with than this. Scratch that, all of my YouTube shorts are perfect and you should go watch them all and subscribe and also like the video and make me buy more One Piece pins. Yeah, look, the hat's in the background. See, I've got Luffy and Zoro, and as of the filming of this video, I'm almost at 300, so please, 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 please.
Yes, that's right. For every 100 subscriptions, you can force this poor man to buy another $16 pin for this hat. In this economy, that's worth half a sandwich. Subscribe now.
So, I finished filming and began editing frantically. This was about, I don't know, just before dinner on Sunday. And then I missed the deadline. Initially, I thought it was just by an hour. Like, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't that bad. But then I checked my email. Remember when I said that the submission deadline was Sunday evening at 5? Well, I was wrong by about 7 hours. It was supposed to have been submitted at 10 a.m. on Sunday, and I had misread the email. So, where does this leave us? Well, I may not have been able to compete, but I still had a great time. I learned how to persevere and I made this video. Just kidding. Do you think I'd really let there be that many all is lost moments in one video? No. Yes, I did miss the deadline by about 7 hours, but I sent a heartfelt email explaining why I had less time because of the 4 hours I spent moving around on vacation and hoped that they'd forgive me. And the Dropbox for submissions was still open for some reason, so I just submitted it. As it turned out, the email I'd sent addressing the team actually was just one guy, the lead organizer, who also happened to be my video productions teacher, Mr. H. Shout out to Mr. H. He's an awesome guy, and he has really helped with my filmmaking career and is just awesome in general. We love you at Team Connecticus, Mr. H, if you see this video. He said that not only did he like the film, but he'd also talked to the judges about having it entered even though it was late. And I didn't know if this was a good sign or not at the time. It could have just been because I was on the mailing list, probably that. But I got an email inviting all participants to the awards show at my local theater. All participants. So maybe I was still in.
Alright, so I just arrived at the theater from my bicycle, and I'm about to go in there and see if my film's there at all. And if it is, I might win, and I get to watch the other submissions too, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, I don't know if they'll let me film in there, but if they do, I might film like a clip of something interesting that happens. But yeah, talk to you guys after the show. Alright, enjoy.
The judging, I've never really been in the judging room. I was not a judge on this, I'll make that clear, because there were a lot of films that I was connected to in some way, but I was not a judge. But it's really interesting and always challenging to hear judges have to give out these awards, and they wanted to give awards to everybody. And that wasn't doable, so we were able to expand our awards a little bit. So we're going to start off by our best use of prompts. That award's going to go to Sack Attack. Award called the Judge's Choice. This is one that the judges said this film deserves to be awarded. Something here because it was super solid. And this year we had 4 Judge's Choice Awards. So we'll pass those out now. I see a lot of seniors here. Do you have any? And our final award tonight is first place for Peer Choice Awards, and that is going to Sack Attack. Well, we got some seniors and some not seniors. Anybody want to talk about what they're doing next year? Video stuff? Yes, Colin?
Alright guys, I just got out of the theater. I won all of the awards, right? Right guys? Can verify. Can verify I won every single award. No, actually, I didn't win any of the categories, but the rail adventure was the friends that we made along the way, right? Yes. Somebody validate me. Thank you.
Well, even though I didn't win any awards, at least my entry was accepted, so hey, that's a plus. So, what did I learn from all of this? Well, a lot, actually. First of all, films that are more flashy and comedic tend to win over judges more than introspective and abstract ones. That's a shocker to nobody. Insert MCU. Secondly, though it's cliche, it's more about the journey than the destination. I had a good time making the film, and I thought the song was pretty cool, even though it could use some better audio. Now I can do better in the future. Thirdly, the fact that I actually followed through and submitted something, even though it wasn't what I initially thought it would be, is still proof that I can do hard things. And lastly, even if you don't think that what you've made is your finest work, what's important is that at the end of the day, you still created something. Because then you can document the process as a YouTube video and still squeeze something out of it anyway. Outro! Hey everybody, Connecticus here. Thank you so much for watching my first video. I really appreciate it that you made it all the way to the end. This is my first time ever making a long form video, so I apologize if it was kind of rough, but you know, you gotta learn somehow. Also, be sure to share this to everybody you know, send it to the family group chat, you know, give grandma some culture, because if I get enough views, then my dad will help me make a buy me a coffee, and then I can actually get money off of this. Yay! Also, part 2 will arrive.